Hey guys, Steve here from Bloom Audio. Today we're going to talk about the 64 Audio Duo. Duo is the latest IEM from 64 Audio. It's a 2-driver hybrid with a really unique open back design. This design gives it sort of a one-of-a-kind sound. So let's dig in and find out more about it. So as you can see, the Duo has this unique vented design on the IEMs. Now it actually does, the way these lines are, reminds me of a lot of planar magnetic headphones, but it's a single balanced armature with a dynamic driver. Now, we've listened to these quite a bit in a variety of situations, and there's really not, even though they're open, there's not a lot of noise bleed going on. Got these tangled up. So, I wouldn't be too worried about listening to these in a crowded situation. Maybe not like on an airplane, you might get some bleed in there. But in an office or something like that, you're not going to be bothering your coworkers with that. Now, if you noticed, this is 64 Audio's updated stock cable. It's just got a nicer feel, look, and it's a lot more manageable than the old stock cable. Just an overall upgrade. So it's really nice design on these. This is one of my favorite 64 Audio designs, and really like the new upgraded cable. So when you get it in the box, this is kind of the standard 64 Audio box. IEMs would typically be there with the cable wrapped here. Then you get the case. Now inside the case, you get a selection of tips, foam. You get these deep insertion ones, and then you get spin fits. Now these are like custom spin fits. These are, I'm going to mess up the name. I think they're the CP155s. But typically these have a larger bore in the standard 155s, but these have a smaller bore to fit onto 64 Audio IEMs, which is really great because I like this design. It's got a little extra flair at the end that really helps with the fit. You get just this little cleaning thing and a clip. Clip can come in handy, and you get the case in here as well. It's just a solid regular case. I do feel like you got to have the IEMs wrapped up pretty tight to fit in the case, so I can see if my current wrapping job, so you want to wrap them up fairly tight and they'll fit nicely in that case and be pretty snug. If you've got like a little cleaning cloth, there's not one included in these, but I might recommend putting it in there just to give you a little bit of extra cushion for the IEMs. But all in all, a great package as usual from 64 Audio. Duo sound is very much defined by that open back character of it. The big thing you're going to notice as soon as you put these in your ears is this massively wide soundstage. I don't know that I've ever heard an IEM with this kind of width to the soundstage. Even if other ones have, more complete sort of three-dimensional feeling sound stages, the Duo wins even against, stuff in the $3,000-$4,000 range in terms of sheer width in the soundstage. And it also has more of a fun V-shaped sound than you're used to getting from 64 Audio. So starting with the bass, it has good sub-bass extension, and the mids have a good bit of punch to it, again being more of a fun V-shaped sound to it. You do get some recession into the mids. There's still good weight and body to mid-range instruments and vocals. It's just that they feel a little bit behind some of the bass and treble features in the mix that Duo's giving you. So as you move up into the treble, there's really strong resolution and really strong performance with a treble end instruments, things like whether it's a violin and the bowed sound you get there, the texture and the detail in the violin, or it's the cymbals where you're getting the tight crash and really natural decay on the cymbal sound as well. So that's all really good in the highs. And the timbre is quite good as well. It's not too warm, where I think the overall character of the IEM is slightly warm. I don't feel like it affects the sound of instruments, where they still feel quite natural, particularly in terms of acoustic instruments. We had a couple comparisons in mind for the Duo. The first one is the really other biggest notable open back IEM that I could think of that sort of pushes into this range, and that would be, AUDEZE's LCD-I series. So the LCD-I4 was, I thought, a little bit out of reach, but the LCD-I3 is a couple $100 off from the price of Duo, with LCD-I3 being $899 and Duo being $1199. So I thought there would be a good comparison there. Now, they are very different form factors. So I've never found the i3 to be particularly comfortable. Just feels a little bit big and bulky. I don't get a good fit even with the ear hooks, just sort of a consistent stability. It does have some amazing technical aspects to the performance, though. I felt that the soundstage overall was better constructed than Duo's, but Duo's was wider. The i3 also felt faster, and that you had more clarity, particularly in the mid-range, in complicated pieces. There was just I didn't think Duo ever sounded congested in the mid-range, but compared to the i3 just brings that extra level of definition and clarity to the instruments there. Now, where Duo excels is in the more broad characteristics, where its tuning feels more natural, more right than the i3. i3 felt somewhat mid-forward, and it didn't just feel as musical. I felt a little more analytical, and there's definitely a place for both. I just personally prefer the Duo's take on it as well. And where the i3 does give you good slam, Duo gives you sort of a deeper, rounder, thicker slam than i3 does. Again, giving you, because there's a little bit more emphasis in the bass into the sub bass, you get just a more rounded, heavy slam that's more satisfying in a lot of ways. Overall, the LCD-I3 is, great set of IEMs. And I know a lot of people like to EQ those because they have some really strong technical performance. You can do a lot with EQ. Out of the box, though, I think Duo's giving a stronger listening experience. And for some people, you might not be able to get past the comfort and fit issues on the LCD-I3. The other IEM I wanted to talk about is the 64 Audio U6T. So in terms of price, Duo is $100 less than the U6T. Now, depending on how you do math, you might look at Duo and look at U6T and say, this one has 2 drivers, and this one has 6 drivers. So I get 4 more drivers for $100. But if you've been in the IEM game for a little while, that's not exactly how it works. And while there are definitely some stronger characteristics in U6T, this is largely going to come down to a preference issue. U6T has more of what I think of at least as 64 Audio's house sound. It's almost neutral, just a little bit musical, just a touch of that sort of romantic sort of sound that that makes it both neutral and enjoyable. A lot like the U12T. Duo, again, is more exaggerated, a little bit more V-shaped, and just more fun. And again, Duo has that just exceptional soundstage width where U6T has, just a fairly good soundstage as you would expect in this price range for an IEM. So they're definitely going for a different listener here. If you're listening to, to hip hop, to rock, to metal, a Duo is going to give you that hit, that slam that you're really looking for, where U6T is going to give you a smoother bass performance. Now, if you're really focused on vocals or other things, U6T is giving you a stronger vocal presence and just a more rounded vocal presentation in general, where again on Duo, as we mentioned, the vocals sometimes feel a little bit pulled back in the mix. I'd also say in the high end, Duo does have this bit of resolution, I think somewhat owing to the open back design, that the U6T can't match. There's a certain characteristic particularly to cymbals, that Duo just really nails, that sound, perfect on Duo. And while it sounds great on the U6T, it doesn't stand out as much. So basically, U6T is the IEM for the more discerning listener who wants a sound that's closer to neutral. Duo is the fun IEM. You want something a little bit more bold and brash. That's what Duo is giving you. With its open design and its engaging tuning, Duo really is a unique IEM. So it's a one-of-a-kind IEM right now with just this bold sound and this huge sound stage that make it an incredible listening experience. Again, seeing this as probably the best, sort of most well-executed version of an open back IEM that I've seen. Hopefully, Duo's design is going to help open up new frontiers for IEM design. Thanks for watching. You can check out the Duo at bloomaudio.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.